Yo, how's it going, guys and girls? My name's Chris and welcome to my channel, CSM Investing. From the looks of the title, I can imagine some of you sitting there thinking, great, I need to learn how to do this, but what is this guy selling me? But to be honest with you, the only thing that I'm going to be selling to you here today is good habits that should be implemented into your life as soon as possible. Otherwise, as Robert Kiyosaki, author of the amazing book Rich Dad Poor Dad, once said, you don't want to be stuck in the rat race. This basically means you don't want to be living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah, literally no one wants this. Money is a touchy subject for a lot of people, and that's because it's such a personal part of all of our lives. But once you understand how money actually works and what you need to do with it, you can then make it work for you rather than you working for it. That way, the topic of money becomes a lot easier to talk about. So, if you're wanting to learn each step, make sure to stick around and follow each of these instructions that I've laid out for you in the order given, obviously for the best results. But before we get into that, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Right, let's get straight into it. The first and most crucial step to actually begin your journey to make $1 million is to pay off all and any of debt that you have outstanding. This step is so important because if you're in debt, whether it be from university loans, credit cards, or you've even borrowed money from the bank, if you haven't paid it back, this can affect your credit score in the worst possible way. All of this has been explained in my previous video, and if you want to learn more about how your credit score is affected and how you can improve your credit score, go check that video out. To actually start your journey in becoming wealthy, you must first eradicate any debt that you have. That way, all the money that you are earning from your job, your side business, whatever you're doing in order to make money, is then going straight into your own pocket and not to paying off any debts. I do understand that with universities in the UK, you don't actually have to owe any money back until you're paying around £1,615 for Plan 1. And then for Plan 2, you don't have to owe anything back until you're earning around £2,214. And this is obviously within a monthly period. And yes, I do also understand that all your fees get completely written off after like 30 years from when you meant to start your first initial payment. But if you intend to take this route, it technically means that you're going to be in debt for most of your life. Now, is that really worth it? In my opinion, having debt is bad unless you're using the debt to buy an asset. That way, you're making money, and the money that you actually make with the debt that you're using to buy that asset, you can then eventually pay off the initial debt that you loaned, which is just a great concept. You're basically getting free money, and you can do this in monthly installments or pay it off fully. And once you've done this step, you can then move on to the next step, which is creating an emergency fund. I'm not gonna lie, I thought this was common practice for a lot of people, as you know, it protects you if anything goes wrong. Case in point, being in lockdown for nearly a full year, and that way you have some reserved cash on the side to keep you going for a couple of months. Obviously until you are back on your feet. But according to yourmoney.com, a fifth of all workers in the UK never had a rainy day fund set up before all this COVID-19 shenanigans had struck. Now this is disappointing, but if you are here and you're actually watching this video, you are one of the few people that are trying to actually improve on their situation. And I genuinely applaud you for doing that. To actually start an emergency fund, or as some people like to call it, a rainy day fund, you need to put at least 3 to 6 months of your paycheck in there into a high interest savings account. Now you can do this with places like Ally United Bank, as they have a 0.74% fixed rate for 2 years, or with Al Ryan Bank, who have a 0.8% rate, but you have to have a minimum deposit of £5,000 to actually open the account. I can't stress this enough, but this is a very important step for you to actually have some security within your future. That way, if anything unexpected does turn up, you have some security, as I've said, there to keep you going for a few months at least. Please use your common sense and start one up as soon as possible. Even if you're 18 or even if you're 16, it doesn't matter what age you are, starting up an emergency fund is the first, well, obviously other than paying off your debts, is the first thing you should be doing. The third step is something that I've been a huge advocate for a while now, and it's been mentioned numerous times on this channel, and that's index funds. If you're wanting to get out of the rat race, the best way to do this is by making your money make more money, and you can do this at a steady rate through the investment of index funds. These are the less risky forms of investing in the stock market, as you are investing in a larger group of companies like the S&P 500, which is the top 500 companies in America. If you were invested in the S&P 500, you are basically saying that you think that the top 500 companies are going to be around for the long run. And yes, it is a long hold play. It's not a hit it and quit it play. You have to hold these for a long amount of time to get the best investment back. Just think of them more as a retirement fund to set yourself up for the future. Make sure this becomes a priority in your life and set aside a bit of cash each month to actually invest in index funds. Once you've paid off all your debts, built up an emergency fund, and started consistently investing in index funds, now I think it's time to move on to step 4, which is investing elsewhere. This could be into individual stocks like me. Currently, I'm holding 14 companies, and at the moment, most of them are actually in the red. But because I know that's how the game sometimes works, I'm not emotional about it. I know that sometimes the markets just need to readjust and do some corrections, but I am very confident in all the companies that I am holding, and know that one day, because I've done all of my research, I will be in the money. If this sounds good to you, then you can open your free investing account with Trading 212, and if you click the link in the description below, you'll get a free stock on behalf of them. I do only suggest doing this if you see as only investing and not gambling, and once you've completed every other step on the list that I've said previously. Another way to invest your money is by saving up your money for a deposit on a property, with extra cash saved up for maintenance, and then once you've done this, rent out the property. This way you can make monthly cash flow to pay off the initial mortgage that you've just taken out. It's also great because you can make extra profit and then obviously repeat the process to make passive income. With this section, having an emergency fund set up is vital, as you never know when something could go wrong. It could be something as simple as a burst pipe, or maybe even a tenant not paying rent. So it is definitely of utmost importance to have an emergency fund set up. And the last way to invest would be in yourself. Now, I have done a video previously on this subject, and I've expressed why I think it's so important. So if you'd want to find out, please go check out that other video. I did just want to make a quick comment on how you could actually save a bit more money. And this is just through paying for your essentials. These are food, shelter, transportation, healthcare. Now, healthcare is a bit more important in America, as you know, we've got the NHS over here in the UK. But for people in the UK, it is always a good idea to have a bit of extra money to provide for private healthcare if needed. and utilities. Anything more than that, it's not really needed. Obviously, clothing's important, but not the big brands. Yes, I do wear Tommy Hilfiger and I do wear Adidas and I do wear quite a few expensive clothes, but most of them have been brought for me. If it was me, I'd just go to Primark and buy cheap clothes, but you know, get them all brought for me, which I'm not bragging, it's just presents. Yes, it is nice to go out and treat yourself every now and then, but people's sense of consumerism is what is keeping them poor. Going out and buying the new iPhone or the new, I don't know, Samsung if you're an Android user like me, or I don't know, like the top branded clothes, like it's just a logo, and everyone's doing it just to be socially accepted, which is just wrong. Big corporations are keeping you broke. I know it sounds like a conspiracy theory, but it's true. And instead of going out and actually buying that new product that big company has brought out, invest the money in the company and then watch your money grow. It's as simple as that. My final thoughts here are that if you follow these steps the way that they've been laid out for you, I can guarantee that you'll be well on your way to making your first million. It's all about consistency and living below your means in your early years. That way you can live like a king or queen earlier than you ever thought, instead of flexing the money that you're living on paycheck to paycheck when you're really broke. I'm Chris, and thanks for coming to my channel. Peace.